Brought to you by Get Well Yoga. Get back to doing what you love.
And circling the hips. And the whole body is involved. Bring the upper back, mid back, legs. And the feet are on the earth. Spread the toes wide. Really see if you can connect with the earth today. Think of the eye of the sole of the foot as an energy gateway, this connection into the earth. This helps us with our balance. And in the opposite direction a few times. The largest joint in our body, the big ball and socket joint of the hip. Quite a simple joint, really. The ball and socket of the hip is the top of the femur, the greater truncator, just goes into this dome or bowl shape of the hip joint, the iliac. And then we'll work on the shoulders, the other ball and socket joint. So I invite you to take the hand, I'll mirror you, the left hand to the C7, we'll mirror you, so that the hand comes to the top of the thoracic spine, the base of the cervical spine, the neck, and we inhale and take the right hand to the tip of the elbow, bending at the knees slightly. Engage the abdominals and then begin to twist as you lengthen and extend out through the elbow, perhaps even looking up. Inhaling back to the midline, slight bend, and we're doing 5 on each side. Very slowly as we introduce the breath, inhaling as we extend up, lengthening. Exhaling as we come back to the middle, slight bend in the knees. Inhale, spread toes wide, start with the feet, come up through the legs, come up through the 4 sides of the torso, slight twist and up through the elbow. Exhaling back to midline. Last one. As we move with grace, taking the other hand to the top of the thoracic spine, the back of the hand comes to the lower back. As we bend at the knees at the midline, and then twist and extend. Again, starting with the feet, think about that sole of the foot, that eye of the sole of the foot connecting to the earth, and then slowly extend as you twist and lengthen. Really fabulous for our shoulder joint. It's a far more complex joint than the hip joint with the collarbone or the acromion. And of course, all of the complex muscles, the rotator cuff, which the majority of those rotator cuff muscles insert right into the humeral head, the top of the arm where it meets the shoulder. They can get fairly irritated, develop some tendonitis in that area. So these stretches help us avoid any encapsulation of the shoulder joint. We're helping lengthen through the rotator cuff muscles. The other one, the teres minor, inserts onto the scapula itself and down under the arm. Last one. Exhaling as you bend the knees, inhaling as you extend. Slowly unfolding, and just rotate the shoulders around a few times. They've just done a lot of work. And then in the opposite direction a few times. That should feel pretty good, just that movement alone, huh? You can isolate the movement to independently the shoulders and keep the hands fairly still, taking each shoulder blade back. So you're doing the backstroke without the arms. Then in the opposite direction a few times. Crunch, crunch, crunch. That's okay. That's just synovial fluid probably, or the tendons rubbing against each other. Muscle fibers. So we take the back foot back, we're hip width shoulder width apart now, and we're going to take the back of the right hand to the lower back. And we're making a fist here at the pectoral muscles, right above the chest here, at the lung point. This is an important energy gateway and meridian here at the lung point. So I invite you just to give that a couple of taps, moving across the body to the other side. Inhaling and exhaling. Think about what the toes are doing in the front foot. Are they crunched? Can you spread the toes wide in the front foot? Are they gripping? Slight bend in the front knee. Make sure the knee's not diving in or out, that the knee is aligned with ankle. You should be able to look down and see the, excuse me, the knee aligned with the second toe even. Then we're going to extend the elbow out. So it's following the same plane at 180 degrees at the horizon line, and we're taking that elbow directly in front. So we're lengthening the rotator cuff muscles here. Excellent. Last one. 5 breaths. Think about measuring things as breaths rather than movements. 5 breaths. Inhaling as we exhale, this time the elbow comes down. So it's coming over and down. Fist remains steady at the chest, at the lung point. And shorten your stance if that feels better for you, to shorten the stance. If there's too much strain on the hip, feel free to adjust and modify. And then another movement of this elbow is to come up. So we're coming up, now, and under. The shoulder, of course. Nice stretch of the teres minor now, and the teres major. There's another set of muscles there, the supraspinatus and the infraspinatus in the back, on the shoulder, the 4 rotator cuff muscles. Last one. And release. Oh, I hadn't done that for a while, that shoulder, huh? Moving in all those directions that it's designed to. Yep, we have another side. So we move to the other side, and we'll start, no, we haven't done our stretch on this side yet. So inhaling, taking the hand to the thoracic spine or the cervical spine, lifting up. Or did we do this side yet? I can't remember. Well, we're getting another one on this side, because it feels like we need it. At least my shoulder. I think so, actually. Maybe we didn't. So bending at the midline. Exhaling as we extend. Might be a bit longer on one side at the end. Exhaling as we come down, bending the knees, and then think about coming up through the feet, through the legs as we twist out through the elbow. And lengthening all the way up through the ribs. Feel some lengthening and widening across the chest, slight back bend, but ever so slightly, but extend out through the crown of the head and out through the elbow. Wonderful. As we then just roll the shoulder joints a few times, just to come back to sense of relaxation. Very important part of Qigong is this sense of relaxation through the body. Ease within effort, we call it in yoga. Sthira Sukha Asana. Ease within effort. As we take the opposite foot forward now, and we're taking that fist to the pectoral muscle right above the chest here, this lung meridian, and we're tapping across. Take the back of the hand to the lower back. Check that the front leg is slightly bent, the knee's not diving in or out. All too much. You want to have that aligned above the ankle roughly. Feel free to narrow the stance, or shorten the stance, I should say. Narrowing would be taking the leg out wide. That's a wide stance. Narrower. Shorten would be drawing the foot back in close together. With the fist now at the lung point here this morning, we're taking the elbow at a plane. Inhaling, opening, exhaling as we come forward around 180 degrees. Find a nice stretch through the upper trapezius here, through the rotator cuff muscles. Feel the hand in the lower back helping support the movement. See if you can feel that hand firmly into the lower back. And lengthen out through the crown of the head and out through the elbow. Notice any gripping in the toes in the front foot. Two more breaths. And then we're coming down and around and over. Two more breaths in this movement. And then we're coming underneath now. Take the elbow from underneath. Come back to the breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Two more breaths. Very young energy there. It's actually an elbow strike. So if we were thinking of that, that would be an elbow strike. And in martial arts, if we turn these movements, all these Qigong movements come from a form of martial arts, and they've adapted them into a more healing motion, so we can really go slowly with these movements and find ways in which we can really come into a more relaxed state in the body and mind. As we come into a heart opener, just taking the hands out wide, chest gets bigger, heart gets bigger, toes spread. Spread toes, elevate toes. Exhaling, heels rise as you make a ball of energy right between the heart. Yeah, imagine a ball of energy between the Lagao points here of the palms. Inhaling, toes rise. Exhaling, ball of energy as the heels raise. Just doing the best. If this is deeply uncomfortable, just keep the feet flat on the earth. That's a fine pose too. So I applaud you for knowing your own bodies. But if you want to challenge yourself, perhaps taking this a little bit further into that young energy where we're really developing strength in the legs, raise the heels perhaps. Toes spread wide, fingers spread wide, shoulder blades draw back and down. Exhaling through thick air. Two more. Wonderful. Both hands come up in a clearing gesture, releasing that last movement. As the hands come down the midline, about an inch or two apart, the hands slowly come down to the heart. We step out a little bit wider. The right hand continues, I'll mirror you, down through the midline as the left hand comes up at shoulder height. Imagine you're serving dinner on a plate and the hand is at shoulder height, deep bend in the elbow, other hand comes down the midline. We'll go slow as we come back to the other side. Hand comes down the midline, opposite hands bend, line of energy right up through the eye of the palm, down to the earth, and a receiving energy down up from the universe into the eye of the palm of the hand at the shoulder. Moving with flow. See if you can begin to set your gaze now right over the middle finger of the leading hand. Other hand continues down through the midline, palm faces down, releasing trapped and stagnant energy. Moving with a little more rhythm now, a little more flow. See if you can find a wave through the body, transitioning the weight to the leading hand. Well done. As we take both hands now up in a clearing gesture once more, down through the midline. Very slowly through the gap. There's no hurry. As we take the right foot forward, I'll mirror you. And we're going to come into a back stance. So we're transferring the weight. Again, narrow the stance, or shorten the stance, I should say. Shorten the stance. And we're about heel to arch alignment. Back foot turns slightly in on about a 30-degree angle. And we're transferring the weight into the back foot. Just get a sense of that weight transition as we transfer the weight into the front leg and into the back leg. Feel the contraction of the thigh muscles, the quadriceps in the back leg, and then in the front leg. These sequences we do are really for our balance and developing leg strength. As we come back this time, I invite you to take now the left hand back, and it's a deep bend at the elbow, and the hand is slightly above the forehead. So it's above the forehead, and the other hand is about a fist away from the thigh. As we transition forward, the arm bends, the front arm bends, and then the other hand comes forward. Moving slowly, coming back, transitioning the weight into the back leg. It's a rising block and a downward block. Rising block, Shuto Oki, moving the hand forward, and that hand is at about your throat level. Coming to the breath. Inhaling as we transition the weight. Exhaling as we transition forward. Last one. Coming back to center, moving to the other side. We'll start with that transition, just to get a sense of that movement once again from the front leg to the back leg. This might be enough for today. If you want to introduce the arms, inhaling as we bend the back arm, so it's at a slight L shape, not quite the L, so it's not above the forehead, it's above the head slightly. It's actually stopping and preventing something from hitting the head here. And this is a block down here. As we transition forward, we switch. This comes so that we have a block, a rising block above the head, and this is at the throat. But if we just go nice and slow, you can feel this strengthening of the legs and develop a wonderful rhythm within the body. Connecting breath with the movement, exhaling as we come forward. Inhaling as we come back. A little bit foreign, it may feel a little bit foreign on one side. That's okay. These are all fairly new to everyone, I would imagine. So it's like learning a new language. All the neural pathways are lining up now. Very good for the mind to learn something new. So applaud yourself. Wonderful. As we come back, both hands come up in a clearing gesture, down through the midline. As we step the left foot forward once more. Again, feel free to shorten that stance if that feels better on the hips today. Sometimes the very long stance here can be a little bit of an impingement on the hips. So again, we applaud you for knowing your own bodies and just shortening that stance. We have a heel to arch alignment here. So just check in with the arch of the back foot, slightly turned in, about 30 degrees, and we're bending the front knee. Wonderful. I'll face this way just so you get a better sense of this movement. As we begin to gather energy, we're again transitioning the weight from the front leg into the back leg. We look at the symbol of yin and yang, the black and white, the night and the day, representing light and dark. But you could think of that boundary through the middle that separates us, or separates those two symbols, the light and the dark, as being where things are most the same, where they meet, rather than where they're most separate. And as we transition the weight this time, we're coming into Warrior Two. Just check in with the front foot underneath knee, the ankle aligned with knee. Knees not diving in or out. Knees aligned with second toe. Strong straight back leg. Feel the eye of the soles of the feet into the earth. And then relax through the torso. Placing the elbow down to the knee, or the hand can come to the knee. And then draw the arm straight down to the earth as we make a large circle. Palm faces out as the arm extends up, and we come up slightly following that arm, and then as we exhale down, see if you can not collapse into the thigh. Create a little more space between the torso and the thigh. Keep some space and opening there. We're not putting too much pressure on that forearm at the thigh. Perhaps the hand is a better option to give you that sense of extension rather than collapse into the thigh. On this next movement, as we come down, we're going to come back to an angle where the arm is following the same angle as the back leg, into side angle. And there's a slight rotation of the heart up to the heavens if that's accessible for you today. Perhaps the bicep comes all the way to the ear. Hand, then back of hand comes to lower back as we open the heart up. Strong straight back leg. And then slowly coming forward. Walking the feet back together. A couple of hip circles, releasing any tension in the hips. And we're coming up against it. Yeah. Meta really wants to show some movements here today. She's got some great yin movements. Or from the yin and the yang. As we step the other leg out and we begin to gather energy. Preparing for Warrior Two, we're gathering energy, transitioning the weight from the front leg to the back. As we come forward, the back arm sweeps around into Warrior Two, extending the front arm. Check in with that front leg, that the knee is aligned with ankle. And we're looking right over the middle finger. Strong, straight back leg. Lengthen through all four sides of the torso. Elbow or hand comes to thigh as we make large circles, palm faces out. slowly with the breath. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Strong straight back leg. Eyes of the soles of the feet connected. Notice if there's any gripping in the front toes. Spread the toes wide. As we come into side angle on the next movement, arm comes down slowly to the earth, and then we make a straight line of energy right out through the fingertips, all the way out through a strong straight back leg, down to the earth. Elbow can rest lightly on the thigh, or perhaps it's the hand today. Nourishing breath here through the tip of the nose. Exhaling as we take, as an option, the back of the hand to the lower back, rotating the heart up to the heavens. Grow long out through the crown of the head. Again, find that line of energy right out through a strong straight back leg. Hand comes down and helps us guide up all the way up, back to forward. Hands come up in a clearing gesture, down through the midline, walking the feet slowly back together. Well done, Dotso.
Thank you, John. All right, let's continue with the heart opener. John had showed you a heart opener. This time we'll do one with a longer exhalation. So let's bring our hands to our heart, palms together. Inhale and let's open our palms, our heart, and exhale, hands back to our heart. Inhale, exhale, focus on the exhalation, lengthen the exhalation, and let's hold after the exhalation. Hold our breath. Inhale, and exhale, release, lengthen the exhale, and hold for a breath or two or three. Once more, inhale, open the heart, exhale, lengthen the exhalation, palms to your heart, and hold for 2 or 3 breaths. From here, we're going to move into Powerful Dragon. Let's move over to your left. I'm actually not mirroring you. So your stance is about hip width apart, hip distance apart. Bend your front knee and your back knee. And your left arm is by your waist. Your left hand faces the sky. And we're pushing the right hand away from you. So it's a push and a pull motion. Push and pull. Push and pull. Push and pull. There are different forms of dragon. This is one of them. Dragon is said to be good for longevity. All the forms of dragon. Let's do one more on this side. Slow and mindful. And let's come back to center. Bring our palms to our heart. Let's bend our knees. And then move over to the other side. So you're about hip distance apart. Again, it's push and pull. So this time your right arm is by your hips, palms face up, and let's push.
I'll face this way.
And pull. see if you can coordinate these movements with your breath. Inhale, push, exhale, pull. We're doing a lot of shoulder work today. And see if you can find your flow as you push and pull. Two more. And last one. Now let's come back to center. Bring your palms to your heart. Keep your feet wide apart, and let's just come down. Press your palms together. And come back up. Now we're moving to the dragon that swims. So with your palms and elbows apart, let's just swim to your left and to your right. No hurry. Now your dragon's coming up for air. So he's coming up to the top of your head. When you get to the top, lift up, lift your heels, and come back down, and let's swim a little bit lower. He's coming back down to the ocean. Again, we're rotating the spine as we come back down through your thoracic, through your middle back, your lower back. Just moving and gathering energy. Back up once more. And come back down. Hands back to your heart. This time let's transition our weight to the left as we move both arms to the left and look over your right shoulder. And let's come back to center and transition over to the right as you bring both arms and palms to the left. Feel the rotation of the neck, shoulder, it's really good for circulation as we're moving our neck, our spine, our rib cage, developing energy, gathering energy. Shifting the weight over. Come back to center. 2 more on each side. And just relax your arms. Just feel the rotation of the neck. One more on one side, on the left, and one more on the right side. And let's come back to center. And let's clear once more before we come down our mat. Sweep our arms out and up. And clear. Releasing any stagnant energy. And then let's bring our hands to our dantian. For women, it's left over right, and for men, it's right over left. Just feel the energy you've cultivated in your vessel, the dantian. Notice your breath. Just notice how you feel. Let's now move down to the earth. If you have a blanket, place your blanket under your knees as we will stand on our knees. And we're moving into a yoga pose called side gate. Extend your left leg out to the side, to your left side. Raise your right arm up to the sky, nice and straight. Reach out, lengthen the spine. And then let's lean over to the left. Feeling that stretch here on the right side of your body. Let's come back to center. Arms back on your side. Your left leg meets the right. And now let it extend the right leg over to the other side. Your feet are forward. And let's lengthen your left arm. Feel that elongation of your spine. And let's lean over to the right. Again, you're feeling that stretch here. On the lateral stretch. Notice your breath. Notice how you feel. No need to change anything, just simply notice. Sweep your arms back onto your side, back to center. From here we're actually coming into and lying onto our belly. So if you do have a blanket, this could help. If you lie your hips on the top of your blanket.
Oh, face this way. I'll see your feet pretty clearly.
And we're coming into a yoga pose called Sphinx. So you're onto your elbows and your forearms. So your line of energy is down towards the earth. So press down with your elbows and you're actually pushing up. So you're lifted up. From here, as we inhale, let's look over our right shoulder. And come back to center and look over your left shoulder. Keep pushing up. You want to keep the height. Back to center. So we're going from side to side. Your shoulder slightly moves over to the center as you do your rotation. From side to side. Keep pushing up from your elbows so you're keeping the height. Lots of work today on the shoulders. We're working on strengthening as well as opening up the shoulders. Let's do one more on each side. And from here, let's lie on our side. So if you have a blanket under you, just move it over to the side. Stack your knees. You can either keep it at 90 degrees or maybe at about 15 or 30 degrees. Stack both palms in front of you. So we're going to bring your palms forward slightly and then lift it up as if you're opening a book. And bring it all the way behind you as you come into a T position. So you're opening the book. And then let's bring that arm back. Your palm meets the other palm. And they're both stacked together. Let's do a couple of these. Inhale, let's open the book. And exhale. Let's close your favorite novel. Let's do two more. Slowly come back. One more. And back to center. From here, walk your arms above you as if you're painting a half a rainbow. And your arm finishes off so that you're in a T position. And then come back and repaint that rainbow. Let's do two more. Paint the rainbow. So you're opening up the front body. And one more. And we still have another side, so hopefully you can feel that in your shoulder. It feels good. Now let's come back up and lie onto the other side. to admit someone in, I think California is we went on daylight savings. Let's lay on the other side and place both arms and stack your knees and stack both palms. Now reach out with your top palm and open your book. Opening up that chest. And let's come back and close the book. We're not doing much of opening and closing books these days with the internet, but I do miss opening a novel and not reading from the computer. Let's do one more on this side, and then we'll paint the rainbow. If you do this on your own, it's best to go slow. And now let's paint the rainbow. So your top arm moves above you and to the other side, so both arms that are at the T position. Let's come back, repaint that rainbow. Let's do two more. Let's rest here for a second or two. How do your shoulders feel? So we're going to move to the end of our class with a very short meditation. You're welcome to stay in Savasana, or you're welcome to sit in a comfortable position. The meditation is a heart map meditation, and it's on coherence. Coherence is when your mind, your emotions are energetically aligned together. So with your eyes open or closed, with your body fully supported by the surface that you're resting on, see if you can just notice and pay attention to your breath. Pay attention to your heart breathing. Your breath focused as it breathes in and out into your heart space. In through your heart and out through the heart. Can you recall, perhaps relive a feeling when you were joyful or happy, coherent? And see if you could bring that into your heart. Bringing it down from the head to the heart and feeling it, reliving that feeling as opposed to thinking. Can you relive that moment? As we continue to work on heart-focused breath. Breathe in through the heart and breathe out through your heart space. Science shows when you breathe in and out through your heart, your body circulates feel-good hormones such as serotonin, oxytocin, the same hormones that are excreted when you hug somebody. Let's continue to breathe in through the heart and exhale through your heart. And when you're ready, feel free to open and close the eyes. Open and close the eyes. Holding on to the way you feel. And this is a great practice if you want to regulate emotions anytime during the day or night. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day. And for those that have joined from California, have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Hopefully you'll have a sense of calm and vitality for the rest of the day.